Om Gayatri Mahamantra with your back straight, both hands upon your left beneath the right. Om Bhurabhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Mystical Gayatri Mahamantra, part number 17. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Today we are upon Devasya. Bhargo, the effulgence of the Almighty. And now we talk upon Devasya. Devasya means divine in the most simple form. Devasya connected with the divinity. In English, it is known as divine. How far this word can encompass the total understanding of divyata, that is the word that we use in Hindi, it cannot be said. Anyway, I will go on changing between divinity and divyata, both of them. Divyata means one that bestows. Divyata, in a way, is an antonym to promiscuity, narrow-mindedness. When you perform your rightful mandatory obligations, that too is divyata. Divyata is not unconditional. It becomes active to accomplish when its due conditions are met. Once a condition is met, Devata has to manifest. But remember, it's not unconditional. Generally, when we talk about Devatva or Divyata, again, I find slight difficulty to contain that understanding within divinity. We generally understand that it is some kind of an unconditionality wherein some grace shall be bestowed upon me or anyone. But it is not so. Devasya, that is Divyata, is not unconditional. Even an element like fire or water, unless they are given their due, shall not be able to act in the way they are designed to act. And the same goes for Gayatri as well. Even for Gayatri, it is divine, it is Divya. But conditions have to be met before they are able to unravel their own potential. It must be noticed that we are not talking about the creator over here. In the form of a creator, I would only like to see the Supreme Consciousness and the Mother as the creators. Gayatri is worshipped as a mother, but as a divinely mother. And the word divine associated with it mandates for certain conditions to be met before raising any kind of expectations out of it. Hence, the due conditions, if are not met, Gayatri too shall not unravel or manifest its powers. As far as the seeker proceeds to meet the due conditions, the Divine Mother continues to bestow its grace. The moment you deflect, it shall cease to bestow. Is that conditioned to that extent? Yes, it is so. Hard to accept, but accept it. Its compassion is there is no doubt. But the compassion is under a condition. And the condition is that you must be able to follow the prescribed disciplines. Anything short of that shall disallow even the mightiest power like Gayatri to enshower its bliss upon you. Of course, the word that precedes devasya, that is divyata, is bhargo. And in the light of bhargo, whosoever incinerates the impurities within shall find the divine grace of Gayatri manifest. The impurities have to be incinerated by your own efforts, by your own introspection, by your own self correction. That is your job to be done. If you assume that despite of all my impurities, I'm not prepared to change anything, and I start propitiating Gayatri, let it accomplish on its own, then I'm quite candid to mention it might unravel few of its decimated aspects, but you shall be bereft of its entirety. The foremost deliverable is the form of Gayatri's grace. This is in the form of divine sight that we term in Hindi as Divya Drishti. Divya Drishti is again a word that has to be very rightly understood. It means over here an noble insight. Noble insight. That is Divya Drishti. I know what you're thinking at the back of your mind, or especially those of you who are versed with Hindi and have already heard this word earlier, Divya Drishti. I know that. I'll come to that also. Now, Drishti is a word which has to be deeply understood. It's about insight. And Drishti matters a lot. It really matters a lot. If you start probing this word in the light of affairs around your own self, in the light of this entire world even, you'll find something unraveling. People with similar upbringing, similar education at any given place of time, anywhere in this world, can bear absolutely distinct insight. That is the term which we generally deploy in Hindi as by saying drishti drishti ka bhed, a difference of an insight. And that goes with any walk of life and any profession. People in the same set of with the same set of issues, in the same profession, with the same set of qualification and similar experience, resolve to outcomes that are poles apart. A bench of judges shall differ. A team of doctors may draw different conclusions, even based upon same reports. Policy makers, yes, people conclude their outcome on the basis of the total available understanding they bear, and the understanding that they bear also has their own kind of personal bias. I hope now you understand what is drishti and what is insight that enable you to conclude towards any specific outcome or decision. And if you are able to follow with all promptness the discipline of Gayatri at the end of a seeker, especially in the light to incinerate your own inner impurities, then the grace of Gayatri becomes active and divinity manifests. Divyadrishti, a divine insight. Observe a special caution over here in the form of a premonition that the meaning of Divyadrishti initially, repeat initially, for a sadhak does not come in the form of any paranormal power. We generally try to gather the connotation of a paranormal power whenever we use this word Divyadrishti. No, it is not so initially. Here it should be understood as nobility in one's thinking. You become noble. All ignoble aspects perish. All promiscuity, narrow-mindedness perishes. Now, there are levels of manifestation in the form of even divine sight in the aspects of paranormal powers. But that comes at a later stage in consonance with the sadhana of a seeker. You progress, your impurities are incinerated, your inside becomes clean, then obviously the paranormal aspects also unravel. But initially, a divine insight is about nobility in your thinking. As divinity manifests, the understanding of the seeker gains pervasiveness. You experience an expansiveness within your own understanding. You start encompassing many more aspects before you conclude towards any subject, person, or a situation. Your conclusions rise above your own vested personal interest. Anything that you conclude shall also incorporate the consideration of time, world, nature, other beings before you come down to any kind of conclusion. And that is the nobility in thinking, and that is divyata. That is divinity. So divinity has to be understood here in the form of a conditioned bestowal, not an unconditional one. Yes, I know we generally draw a blanket the moment devasya or divyata word is used, but actually it is not so. It's a working like an air conditioner. Air conditioner is on, there is cool. Everything to the sensory driver of your touch is comfortable. The moment there is no air conditioner, your sensory driver of the touch shall immediately create a riot. So you must deeply understand within you. I know it might be slightly difficult for you to swallow this aspect of a conditioning or a condition laid down for the bestowal from divinity. Generally, what we understand is divinity means may be soaked into any dirt, but eligible for its grace. To be very precise, one can certainly bear the liberty to have this kind of an understanding. But how far this understanding can deliver something is a different aspect. In this entire cosmos, nothing is free. Everything works under the principle of yajna. Under the principle of yajna, unless you perform your own mandatory obligation, you are not the deserving one to benefit. And Bhagavad Gita has gone to the extents to mention जो अकेला पकाता अकेला खाता वो पाप खाता, which in a way means that you are transacting with the devatas. The concept of yajna has been very rightfully and elaborately explained in Karma Yoga. That's the course we teach. In Karma Yoga, it has been very elaborately dealt with. That these all are gods, they are in divinity. All elements of nature are devata. All powers, seen and unseen powers of the cosmos that facilitate our life on this planet are devata. And they are in the process of a yajna. And yajna is conditioned, it's not unconditional. Unconditionally, you go on contaminating any element. Do you expect the same outcome from them, be it water, air, sky? You go on naming anything. Fire? No. Everything is conditioned. Everything around you is conditioned. If you don't meet the set of conditions required for harmony with it, nothing will come. So I'm overemphasizing the aspect of divinity here, because the moment we say divyata, dev, divinity, we inflate the level of our expectancy, and our expectations, they go beyond boundaries. Considering that nothing is required from my end, but everything shall certainly be bestowed upon to me from some unknown power, and which is not so. To remain in fallacy, disillusionment, is also by choice. To rightly discern and discriminate between the right and wrong is also your own judgment. What you want to conclude is up to you. I've simply mentioned what does Devasya means. Yes, it manifests its grace. It comes with all of its power within it. But unless the seeker has a pure insight, which has already been purified through Bhargo, merely propitiating it, incantation of its mantra, will help to a very small extent. It will sound like talking to an emperor and seeking free toffees and lollipops. Whereas, if you are well versed and in relationship with an emperor, you could bargain or seek anything. Not bargain if the right word, seek anything. That's all I had to mention for Devasya. In the next episode, we shall come down to Dhimahi. This was all under the Saturday Sattva series of mystical Gayatri Mahamantra. ओम ही सत्य है, ओम ही सत्य है, ओम ही सत्य है.